Hi guys, my name is Harbinger, and today I'm actually here to show you a breakdown of one of my songs named Shinigami, and I hope that you guys actually learned something today with this. So, I'm gonna actually show you a little bit of the build-up, and then we're gonna go into the actual drop. For the rest of your life. So yeah, there's a lot of there's just a lot of like cool, interesting stuff. The full actual build up is mostly just like these things. Ooh. It's a little bit of like some flanger twang. Then here's of course the snare. Here is the pre-drop vocal. Maybe you'll get to see something you'll never forget for the rest of your life. Here is a riser kind of noise. Very bass heavy. And then here's actually another noise. Yep. And then right here, I typically just have the actual pre-drop sort of fake out noise kind of going before the actual drop hits. It's just some standard stuff. There are some parts where I'll actually go and then here's actually another part of the drop. If you're lucky. So it was mostly at like the standard pitch it was, and then I have an automation kind of going down a pitch. So it's at the standard 50 and it's dropping down to 15. So it's going to be dropping down in some of the pitches. Um but yeah, it's pretty standard stuff. Um so yeah, like my build ups and my pre drops or even fake outs are pretty lackluster, only because the drop is actually the most like kind of important part of what I do. And so yeah, let me actually go ahead and get started on actually showing you guys a little bit of the pre of the actual drop itself. So the drop itself mostly sounds like this. So I'm actually gonna break down a little bit of what is going on. I'm gonna go here into my mixer. So right here in the mixer track is, you know, every little thing that you would think for like the post processing and stuff like that. I mostly put it into the into this. And so here's what the drums sound like just kind of by themselves. So for like the kick and the snare, as you can see, there is I'm feeding it through a um, another mixer track to kind of create like a side chaining effect going on. Um, I just use I just use Devious Machines Duck. I think I spent like maybe like $15 on it. It's actually one of the best $15 that you could ever fucking like get out of this. And of course, like the hi-hat is pretty normal. Then of course I even have this It is just a crash cymbal that I literally sidechained out, so it mostly doesn't clash with any of the other sounds going on. So here's what it sounds like kind of all together. And so yeah. And so now we're gonna move on to the actual bass. Now the bass itself, the main bass that you hear with like the melody part. So with that, what it is just something from the Ivory sample pack that I really liked. It's just like a simple noise. And then what I did is, so here's what it sounds like without all of the extra stuff, and it's just a little bit of EQing. Then I added a little bit of phase distortion. This is from Kilohertz. I added some OTT to it. And then, of course, I added Duck from, of course, Devious Machines. So now it more or less kind of acts as like a melody instead of like a actual bass synth. It's actually kind of interesting. Then, of course, I have this noise. That's just to kind of give the bass a little bit more girth and to give it a little bit more emphasis. Then of course here's another sound. And then of course when you add everything together, so yeah, and of course the big boy subs. Now I think I spent like hours one day trying to sound like Hole, and Hole is another dubstep artist that is well respected. He is really fucking talented, and so I spent like an entire like day kind of trying to find ways to make my sub sound pretty similar to his. And so what I found is that if I did it like this, I use a little bit of Maximus. I use a different kind of distortion called Mangler. I use obviously OTT, and I actually do something with it that I actually bass boost the subs, and so everything together kind of makes them sound like this. So yeah, so here's what it sounds like when we actually put all of. I'm gonna slowly add the basses together so that you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. Makes it a lot girthier. And like I said, adding those layers of the basses actually bring the sound even more forward. Because I don't know if you heard, but like when I didn't have those under basses, it sounded kind of lackluster. So I'm actually gonna take away some of those sounds again, and I just want to just have you listen to that. That's without, and this is with. So yeah, so that's pretty standard stuff. One of the cool things that I did is that I actually added a sort of a switch up kind of style for the second drop. Oh, I also forgot. I even added this noise, which is just a it's just a Vox noise to kind of give a little bit more girth to the snare. Um, but yeah, like this is just kind of a standard kind of song that I typically like do. Um, yeah, I don't really like do a lot of like extravagant noises, extravagant things. So yeah. Um, yeah, this is just kind of music that I make. I hope that at least this kind of gives you a little bit of insight of like what I typically do. Um, so yeah, I might actually show you the last drop just to kind of show you like what happens when you add something different. Because this is more of like a whole style kind of song, I actually wanted to add something a little bit different. So here's what it actually sounds like for the fake out leading into the actual drop. Has a little bit of a, it's still the same sort of synth noise, but it's in a very like different style for that second drop, because that second drop typically it's still keeping the flow, but it changed it up just slightly enough so that your brain can actually have fun with it again. And that's kind of like the structures of the kind of songs that I like to do, is that I give you the basic structure of what the song actually sounded like at the beginning, and then towards the end is where I actually want it to keep going, but give you a little bit of room to kind of breathe, essentially. So, yeah, this is pretty much just a quick little breakdown for the song Shinigami. I hope you guys actually learned something new, and I'll see you guys later.